Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is E-Love, the game coach. We're back here with another fine episode of the For Real TV talk show. Today I have a distinguished guest. My apologies to the viewers. We had to retape because our last video, we had some technical differences. But God, along with that, before we start, I would just like to give a testimony first and foremost and give honor to God because less than an hour or 2 hours ago, I was involved in a very, very serious crash, a very serious car collision, and I very well could have lost my life. But God saw fit for me to see another day, even if I don't have the vehicle, even if I don't have the resources to gain them right now, because I also was terminated from my job. I know that God eventually will make a way, and He always does for me. So for those of you who are prayer warriors, I'm asking you guys, to pray and ask God that He would bless, Brother E-Love, with another vehicle and a nice job that will allow him to keep his professionalism and his integrity intact. With that being said, we want to welcome you again to the For Real TV talk show. And I'm here with my sister, my friend, my soulmate, my rider, and my motherfucking best partner, you understand me? Anastasia, the bold, the quintessential comedienne in Dallas, Texas. Any of y'all that don't know, this lady here will make you laugh your socks, your shoes, and everything off until you doo-doo on yourself. I mean that literally too. So without further ado, I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit more about who she is and what she's got going on.
Well, basically, my name is Anastasia the Bold, for those that don't know. My ministry is called Pimp Ministries, which stands for Pushed Into My Purpose Ministries. And the motto for that is all hoes welcome, all highly optimistic souls. Looking for something better, God got it, and you can find it at Pimp Ministries. You've been pushed into your purpose when you've been messing with Pimp Ministries. I also am a stand-up comedian, as my brother had said, but I'm the only comedian that you can find up under Comministry, which is ministry by way of comedy, because I know how to take God's word and put it in a form of humor that it touches the soul, brings you laughter, but it also gives you a real live, tangible something that you can go home and take home that sticks in your spirit because you're laughing, but moves your mind because it touched your heart. And the way that I said it is just, you're able to receive it, repeat it, and regurgitate it and give it to somebody else because it's done with laughter and not in a way that makes you feel beaten down or taken over. I like to encourage and build up. I ain't got time for the discouragement because God got something He can use in all of us. And I am so grateful to be here with my brother because I am a witness to the accident that he was in. I didn't get to see the accident itself, but I got to see the how it was attempting to break him. And sometimes when you are chosen by God, you'll go through more things than most people go through. And so I wanted just to say to you as words of encouragement, don't stop now. He give his biggest battles to his strongest warriors. And the devil would love for us to get distraught over a car, distraught over a job. But God say the work is plentiful and the laborers are few. You've been laboring a long time, bro. God needs you out here in these streets telling your story. And so I'm hoping that eventually you use your platform to tell your story because there are people that need you. You ain't through pouring out yet. You still got some cups to fill, and you got a lot to do. So I am so happy to be here on the For Real TV.
Hey, see, so that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. That's why this lady's like sweet potato pie. You can't get it no better than that, but you can't never get enough, man. Just as sweet as she can be. And I just, I thank God for this sister because this sister is instrumental along with other sisters in this town who are making strong tide, making things move for black women and making things move for little children in the community in this town. And, and that's the thing is that, we're supposed to practice and try to be a good neighbor. We're supposed to be neighborly to our friends next door. Sometimes we get sidetracked along the way and the devil get involved in our lives and we seem to lose our minds because that's another person. That's not us. That's not the real us. And somewhere down the line, I had to learn that, there was something greater for me that God had in store. I could max out being the bad guy and the bad boy and the knucklehead. I can serve you your worst drummer if you want to serve them hot cold, or if you want it stiff, you know what I'm saying, and don't move. I used to be able to serve you those things too, but I don't serve the deity that allowed me to be able to take my mind in that place and do wrong against those who are people of God. You know, and you always hear myself, you know, a lot of people might say, this dude here always talking about God, but, you know, we've seen behavior in him that is unbecoming of that of a man of God. I want to say to that I am a work in progress. I don't profess to be any bigger or better than anybody else. In fact, I actually believe that I have more flaws that God is trying to break away strongholds within me so that I can be the example to show you people and other people how God can work for you, because you're not as bad off as me. So if I have to be the sacrifice and the sample, then so be it. If it's God's will, so mote it be. And with that said, I want to ask this sister now regarding to the comedy circle here in the Dallas, Texas. We don't hear a lot of fanfare around in the media or on local radio stations or in media outlets in this town who give shine and praise to the comedians. But if you get involved on the circuit, we come to find out that there are some really nice and talented comedians out here in Dallas that, you know, if you weren't here in Dallas, you wouldn't know that we had this kind of community.
Absolutely. Some of the greatest comedians in the world are right here in Dallas, Texas. Myself, my brother, Mr. D. Ellis, Mr. Entertainment, my sister Angela Walker, one of my phenomenal friends, Miss Alberta, Alberta the Great, or Alberta the Exception.
Alberta.
I always call her Alberta the Great, but her name is Alberta the Exception.
The Exception.
And also Miss Shawnee B. Her real name is Chanel Bennett. If I tell you we got fire in this town, and no, we don't get the recognition that we're worthy of. However, I think sometimes God uses our gifts to open other doors, because most of us have big hearts in other areas. One of the wonderful things about being a comedian is being a comedian gave me popularity, but it didn't give me purpose. It gave me popularity, but it didn't give me purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
And within that, when I first started doing comedy, I was doing clean comedy. I started out doing clean comedy. And what was funny, I would go do comedy in churches, and the people at the church would come up to me and they would whisper, and they would be like, well, can you do regular comedy? And I would always say, what do you mean regular comedy? And they would be like, you know, like where you cussing and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But I would always say, who are we hiding from? Are we hiding from your pastor, or are we hiding from God? I say, because he's in the middle of this conversation and he hear you. I said, I'm going to go tell your pastor you're trying to make me backslide. But one of the things that I figured out is that no matter how far up in God you get, you still want people who can be real with you.
Right.
And no matter where you go in God, you got to be able to reach the people at whatever level they on.
Right.
And one of the things that I love about being who I am, I can go in the dope house, I can go in the crack house, I can go in the weed house, I can go in the clubs. No matter where I go, I get the same honor and respect from the people, because they know that I'm real. And it doesn't change my God presence, it does not change my spirituality, it does not change any of those things, because I know how to go in and fulfill my purpose. It can get, what can get on me don't get in me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And so when you are anointed in a certain thing, as you are, when you are anointed, it is the ability to get molested. And I'm telling my story.
Yes,
it is the ability to get molested. It's the ability to go through all type of sexual abuse. It's the ability to be around people that you think are your friends that turn on you. It is the ability to be disliked and not even know why you disliked.
Oh, I know.
And you ain't did nothing. And you ain't did nothing. But that is the anointing on you. See, because a lot of people can dress up in their Louis Vuitton. They can put on they Fendi. They can put on they Michael Kors.
Yes, ma'am.
They can drive around in their Bentleys and their Maseratis. But you will be wondering, why do they not like me? I have not done anything to them, because they ain't got your spirit. See, you can't take your cars and your clothes to the Father, the Mother, the Divine. However you want to see it, all that can't go. You got to have a heart for God. And a lot of people talk the talk, but they ain't willing to walk the walk. Here recently, I just had the opportunity to do my foot washing.
Awesome.
I did my foot washing,
An
bro.
awesome production, y'all. This lady actually took it upon herself to do as Jesus of Nazareth did with the people. And he went and he washed the feet of the people who were suffering and strugglers. And this sister, allowed the Spirit of God to get into her and to be able to flow and transfer from our hands to these other brothers and sisters who were well deserving because they're mostly misfit and forgotten or considered the underdog. And that's the thing that I like about this sister and a lot of other sisters and brothers that I come into contact with. We go out our way to reach people who have been considered undesirable because we know what it is to walk in those shoes. We know what it is to be in last place. We know what it is to be the one that people would bet is most likely to never succeed in life. And because of those things, most of those people aren't around no more, but we're still here. And we're still shooting tray balls. Every time you look up, we shoot tray balls against odds, against all kind of odds, and it's nothing but the grace of God. With that being said, I want to ask this sister about being a female comedian in this particular in this business. Is there any stigma around that would cause sisters to feel like they have to be more, should we say, or would we have to say, speak to sexuality more to get their jokes across, or is it that it's just a natural part of the sister's craft? Because I hear a lot of male bashing going on, a lot of brothers ain't taking care of their business in these comedy shows with you ladies. The worst thing you can do, boys, don't perform right for a comedian. Because if you do not know, the world will know for you, brother. Speak to that, my sister.
Well, I will say this. We do take our experiences to the stage. We do take our experiences to the stage. I'll never forget, I was dating a young man, and we were both comedians. And it was so crazy because this young man was very fond of me, and another comedian was just being my friend, because I'm that energy. I'm the energy. I'm a brother and a sister to everybody. But this young man did not have the emotional intelligence to be my man, because he couldn't. He thought everybody wanted me, and literally we were in a club and he had gotten up beside another comedian and put a knife in his side. And threatened to do bodily harm to him.
Wow.
And the other comedian came to me and he was like, "Hey, Anastasia," he's like, your friend just pulled a knife on me. And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Put a knife on you for what?" And he says, "Because he think I want you."
Wow.
And I say, "But did you tell him that you didn't?" And he was like, "Yeah." He said, "But he a fool with it." And so what I learned was, don't mix business with pleasure.
Most definitely.
Even in comedy.
Most definitely.
Because we think that we out here and it's an independent game, but it's still a job.
Yes.
And just like they don't have fraternizing on the regular jobs,
Yes, ma'am.
you don't need to be fraternizing in the comedy spectrum either. Because what happens is that if somebody don't like you in comedy, somebody can be wanting to book you in comedy.
Right.
And depending on who know who, the story can get told wrong.
Wow.
And you will have hate for no reason. I want to back up because you said something powerful. You said we help the forgotten and the ones that are disadvantaged and the ones that God don't that people think God done forgot about it, that God don't care about. But God is closer to the people in the streets than he was than the ones in the big house.
Preach, sister.
Because what people don't understand is the people that's homeless, they depend on God every day. Every meal comes from God. Every covering comes from God.
Say that.
Because they ain't got no job.
Say that.
So in order to be homeless, you got to remember, Yeshua was homeless too. I say Yeshua, y'all say Jesus. We talking about the same deity.
Right.
We talking about the same energy.
Right.
But he was homeless. You ain't heard about Yeshua having no apartment?
No.
He was a wanderer.
Right.
And the word wanderer means one without. He went from place to place, and when he wanted to go into somebody's home, he made his comfort there. But for the most part, he was in the streets with the people. Even when he was born, and they have that he was born in a manger.
Yes, ma'am.
But he had to live in a barnyard.
Yes, ma'am.
We sometimes forget to be humble. And the reason, and this is so funny to me because people think that your profession will make you forget to be a person.
Say that again, please.
People think that your profession will make you forget to be a person.
Y'all put a staple on that one.
A lot of people do. We get so high up that we forget who at the bottom.
Right.
We forgot we started somewhere.
Right.
You know, and it's amazing to me when I was telling people that I was going to do the foot washing for the homeless. The first thing they would say is, "Ain't you a comedian?"
Right.
Yeah.
So now they feel like you stepping out of your classification.
Not only am I stepping out of my classification, they had a bigger podium to put me on than the one I had myself on.
Right.
They like, ain't that above you or beneath you? Neither one, baby. It's for me. It's not beneath me or above me.
Right.
It's for me.
Right.
Because that's what I'm called according to my purpose.
Yes,
I don't know about yours, but I know what mine is.
Yes,
I came to serve. And even when I started doing comedy, I came to serve.
Right.
I came to make the people laugh that was brokenhearted.
Right.
I came to make the people laugh that was going through something.
Yes, ma'am.
See, comedy been my ministry the whole time. I remember when I do comedy shows, it's so wonderful. When I do comedy shows, no matter where I'm at doing a comedy show, there's going to be one elder or one godly person in the crowd that's going to walk up to me after my show and say, "Girl, God is all over you." And I remember saying quite a few times, "How you get God out of all that cussing?"
Yeah.
And they'll say,
I can
God,
see how that could be
they'll say, "Baby, God know His people." They say you might have used some cuss words, but you weren't derogatory. You used cuss words for emphasis.
Right.
See, when you know who you are, God, people know God's people.
Yes, ma'am.
Some folks so busy trying to be who everybody else want them to be, they can't be who God want them to be. I thank God I've always been there. The reason people don't like me is because I'm too real. Don't ask me if you don't want the truth.
Well, I like that. I like that because for the most part of my life, you know, I've been considered the underdog and the misfit and the undesirable. And I think that those demons, you know, that people try to attach me, allow the spirit in me that God put in me to stand up and decide to put his dukes up, you know, and prove those people wrong. You know, I've been knocked down more than anybody can imagine. But the thing about it is I've never been knocked down to a point that I couldn't get up again. And today was a very traumatic experience because it was as if I seen my life flash before my eyes. But the thing in me, just like you say, because of our hearts and the way that we're built, you know, the only thing that I concerned myself with was the other person in the accident to find out if whether or not they were okay, if they were injured, because my heart goes out to somebody else that might be hurting, because God sometimes tell the bad boy that we tough enough to stand anything in the world. True enough, we got a big heart. A lot of my lady friends, a lot of my sisters would tell you they consider me they big friendly teddy bear.
That's what I call you, big
yes,
teddy
ma'am.
bear.
But see, on the other side of that, there's some guys you might run into, the old me, who might tell you that the teddy bear you see to hug and squeeze and be lovable to is a gorilla in disguise.
Or a grizzly.
You know? Yeah, most definitely, because I used to be that guy. I used to, you know, would kick your pockets off your motherfucking pants, you understand what I'm saying, if you get out of line with me. But God let me know that just like you kick that man pockets off his pants, you got to go home to a wife and a daughter, somebody that need him to provide for him. So you might not be the one, you know what I'm saying, that I need, you know what I'm saying, to take his place in his position and take this person's life. I know what it is to take life from somebody that you can't give back. And I spent the rest of my life trying to give back to God what I couldn't give back to the people who lost their sons. You know, so today, as a more humble and a mature man, it makes me have a stronger value for humanity. I'm not caught up in the black and white, yellow, blue, or green no more. Now all I see is the human race in God's creation. You know, human beings, you know, and my humanity speaks to that. So on this platform, I want to be able to create an environment where people come here. We don't entertain beef. We don't entertain no salt dropping, no talking down, and no talking bad about anybody, because our thing on the For Real TV talk show is to bring up real topics and to be able to build and rebuild the broken bones of people who we call our loved ones in any color or any tax bracket.
And I love that, bro.
And so now I want to ask you about, you know, to some little young girl who may be 7 or 8 years old and looking at your shows or hearing about you around town, and finding that, everywhere you go, people approach you because, like you say, your spirit is infectious and contagious. Some little girl is sitting back looking and trying to figure out why I never get talked to in class, why the boys never try to get me. How could I possibly one day to be able to be a free spirit and open up and let the world breathe me and not be afraid to? What would you say to a little girl like that who's trying to find her way in this life with all this wickedness and madness we got?
Be still and know that I am God. Sometimes what we think is a character flaw is God's protection. Kids that don't talk to people think that they're secluded and they don't like nobody, they don't get along with nobody, that's why they don't talk. No, they have discernment. They don't need to be a part of the in crowd. See, those that God calls are sometimes set apart. They don't run with a lot of people.
Most definitely.
No matter where I went as a child, I was the leader of the pack.
Yes, ma'am.
But it was because I was made to protect. I was made to protect.
Yes, ma'am.
I was made to feed. I was made to heal.
Yes,
I remember one day I was on my Facebook page and I was going through something. I was on my way to a comedy event. My car ran out of gas and I was just having a day that wasn't going my way. I was just having a troublesome day. And I had pulled over on Ledbetter at a tire shop right there before you're turning on Polk. And I just pulled up in there and I just began to cry. And I was on my live crying.
Right.
And somebody who knew me from childhood,
Right.
and I'll give her criredit, because at that time we was good friends, and I haven't stopped being her friend, but she don't stop being mine. But I'll still give her the credit because she was the one that made the call to my spirit, my friend Shay. And she called me and she said, what the hell is you crying for? She said, get off that live crying. She said, you done been feeding people since you was a kid.
That's right.
She said, you been doing this. She said, it ain't nothing in you that you can't get.
Yes, ma'am.
She said, you've always been a provider. So, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you acting like you don't know how to go get it?
Yes, ma'am.
And I shook myself. I shook myself. Because I had to remember, even when I thought I was a bad kid, I was a kid trying to do the right thing. I was doing it by the wrong means.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it was a group of us that all had parents that was either on some kind of drug, cracks, or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was the orchestrator of the group.
Yes,
I would say, hey, we're gonna put on them jogging pants with the tight legs under the jogging pants. Then we're gonna put the loose jogging pants over them.
Right.
And we're gonna go up here and we had a list. We had a grocery list.
Right.
One was gonna get meat, one was gonna get bread, one was gonna get whatever else we needed.
Right.
We was all had our designated tasks.
Right.
And I remember one time we went out to the store and we had to do that, and we were stealing from that Menards that used to be on Martin Luther King.
Yes, ma'am.
It's now Cornerstone Church. And it's funny that it's a church now because we was getting bread from Menards and now it's a church.
And now people get fed the bread, the word.
You hear me?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Because that was why I got fed, and now God done made it into a church.
Look at God.
Look at God.
Look at God.
See, we didn't even know we was manifesting a place where we could go get our spirit fed.
Yes, ma'am.
When we didn't even know nothing about it. But I remember we had got everything we needed, but we forgot the main thing, which was the bread.
Yes, ma'am.
We had all the meat, all the vegetables, but we didn't have no bread.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was somebody's job to go back in there. Well, my whole crew had already made it out. So I didn't want them to take the chance of going back in there because they had already got everything to feed the multitude.
Yes, ma'am.
So somebody had to be the sacrifice.
Yes,
I went back in there. And at that time, bread used to be at the front of the store, but the man the security guard man wouldn't let you out the store if you didn't have a bag. I got the bread from the front. I walked back around to go through the line, and I told the lady, I said, ma'am, our bread broke. I said, can you put it in a bag? I said, can I have another bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And the lady gave me a bag to put it in so I could get through the gate. She didn't question me. She didn't test me. She didn't ask me nothing. She just gave me the bag. But the reason this is important because when you are doing something to feed your people, God will make a way for you. God will make a way for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And a lot of us have gotten so big-headed and so superficial and so artificial, and we done got cloaked up in so many of our
hang-ups.
Yeah, and just not thinking about people no more.
Exactly.
It's amazing to me how now we can go on Facebook and people are making money off other people's hurt.
Wow.
Even the
Wow.
police.
Right, yes, most definitely.
That young man and the little lady, the baby that lost their life in
Right.
Fort Worth. It killed my spirit
Right.
to see all of the things
Fanfare.
that came from that.
Right.
The police making a dance,
Right.
battling the other police,
Mm.
saying which city is the worst city.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That make sense.
Yeah, they
Y'all making songs and dances
Right.
while mother's over here crying about her child.
Exactly. Exactly.
We have lost our sense of caring. We have lost our sense of empathy.
Right.
And I don't think COVID did all that.
No. No.
I think just the system and the lack of love.
I was just
The
about,
lack
I was
of
just about
love.
to finish that for you.
The lack of love.
There's a big, that's a big thing amongst us as a people, and I hate to say it because I used to be one of the first guys to take the revolutionary path and just throw myself on the front line for anybody black and anything black. And I used to constantly put myself in harm's way to defend people who I considered defenseless. And my passion was big because at that time I was a young gangster. I felt like everything that life had presented to me as a young teenager, living like you said, like your mother, my mother, and some of our other friends from that area who know something about the area, the 80s area, our mothers were addicted to cocaine. So they didn't have time to entertain our pain because they was busy medicating theirs. You understand what I'm saying? So we were forced.
You said something right there. I just want to insert right here.
Yeah.
He said they was busy medicating. They were busy medicating their pain. And while you talking, the Spirit spoke to me because I need to address this for somebody.
Yes, ma'am. Give it to him.
A lot of us are mad at our parents for not being the protector that we thought they should be.
Wow.
A lot of us are mad at our parents for not fighting for us when we came to them with certain things.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I want to give you is that a lot of our parents didn't have nobody fighting for them. So they didn't know how to fight. If I can only give you what I've got, because if I don't have it, it's not a tool I know how to use. And a lot of people are walking around bitter, angry, disrespectful, not honoring their mother and father because the mother and father that they got is not being who they would like them to be. I stopped by to tell you, you might not be being the child God wants you to be. But he still love you. He still wake you up every day. He still give you an opportunity for change.
Right.
But as long as you harboring hate, dislike, dishonor, lack of respect for your mother, your father, you will never progress to where you think you're going to progress because you still got a thing in your heart that's keeping you from God.
Right.
And then we'll say, oh, Father, forgive me. How can I forgive you when you ain't willing to forgive somebody?
Okay. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And
Come
so
on
let
now.
me turn the page for a second because we want to make sure we get this in because I'm a single black brother. As there are a lot of brothers who find themselves when they liberated from slave captivity in these death camps they call prison institutions. You know, not to say there's anything about the prison itself or the people itself because we put ourselves in position to give these people this amount of control over us. You know, I accept my fault and my flaws for the things that I've done. I paid my debt to society, and now I'm out here trying to do more and give back on a positive level to people that I can impact. I run into a lot of people who don't like me for whatever reason. I would even fight for their right not to like me because I've learned to understand that freedom is bigger than what we imagine it to be. Freedom is like a flower that comes up out of this ground, and if God continues to let it rain and water continues to shine on the ground itself on the earth, this flower will grow and blossom. I feel that every human being is like that. We ought to be allowed to blossom. Nobody should be able to pick your wings off and pick your petals off. So I don't get mad about people who don't like me because somewhere across the line, there's somebody who just might be able to. You know, praise to that. But to say that is saying this, that, you know, being a single man, I can attest to the fact that in this city right here, it is very difficult trying to maneuver in the relationship circle. and in that spectrum. And so I want to be able to say to a sister like my sister here, who is a very strong and a very stern and opinionated black woman, what it would take for younger sisters out here today who are struggling, who are working class mothers, who take care of their children, who have a heart big enough to give to a man, and God forbid if they found anything about themselves, what would it take for sisters to find themselves a king like you've got today?
Well, I'm finna get attacked for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
It's the For Real TV talk show, baby. Everything is for
I'm
real.
finna say this because somebody gonna say what the scriptures say, but you know what? Everything that's in that good book ain't been wrote by the good Lord.
Of course not. Of course not.
And they have manipulated the Bible
Word.
to patriarchy,
Yes.
which is to put a man in control.
Hmm.
But if you pay attention to God, if you pay attention to him, God don't make nothing that a child can't understand. Confirmation on the scene.
Alhamdulillah.
God don't make nothing that a child can't understand. And so to this I say, for the young ladies that's out here looking for a good man or wanting a good man, most of us who have been hurt, damaged, molested, sexually abused, domestic violence, or some type of way hurt by our father that may not have been there, or a mother that didn't give us the love that we needed,
Yes, ma'am.
we'll run a good man off.
I know a thing or two about that. Trust
We'll
me.
run a good man off because we don't love ourselves.
Ooh, you said something there, man. See, I want to ask, now you're speaking for all the sisters, because now you're speaking to me. I always wanted to ask, you know, I hear these ladies, oh, it's not enough good brothers out here, ain't enough men to go around, and blah, 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 this and that. But the minute that a brother speak to you and try to be nice to you, or open the door for you, you know, that's so...
They
that's
think
so,
you want something.
Most definitely, they like, you know, they like, I can get the door myself, or how you doing, lady? You know, my name is not lady. Okay, well, I mean, I didn't call you a bitch.
The
I didn't call you a hoe.
the women that answer like that are not used to being respected.
Yes, ma'am.
I myself have spoken to a lady. Do we have any light that we can light that we can put on?
Shit, it's fine.
Use the flashlight, then cut that, and then use the flashlight, so we can get some more light over here. We need light.
Come in so I can show you.
That's how you got
I'm saying cut that off
Oh,
and use the light. Use the light. It's okay.
no, because I'm saying, look.
It's lit pretty good, though.
I thank you.
Yeah,
I see that.
it's lit pretty. It's pretty good. All right.
It's just a glare behind you.
Okay,
It's still over
but I want to say that I want to say this.
Like flash.
Most women who respond that way, most women that respond that way, they're already broken. They already have a feel that they've given so much that anything somebody do good for them, anything that happens good for them, they think has to. You okay, big bro? We ain't got to do it
Go
that
ahead.
close. They think anything that somebody does good, they owe them something.
Okay.
A lot of men are broken too.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
A lot of men have not learned how to start at the top and work their way to the bottom.
Okay.
Most everybody out here working their way from the bottom up to the top.
Yes, ma'am.
A brother want to put it down. He want to show a girl his lick game. He want to show a girl his how his hips move.
Yes, ma'am.
But a lot of times we get entangled into relationships sexually that we're not ready for emotionally. And so women and men who have been hurt, damaged, abused, or things of that nature, a lot of us don't take time to heal. We try to go jump in another relationship and let that heal us.
Right. Right.
You can't heal like that.
Right.
And you got to know yourself.
Right.
You have to know yourself. You have to know, okay, well, I was molested. I got issues with trust because this was my father or this was my uncle. This was a family member. And if a woman has come from a background where she's been abused by somebody in her family, for me it was my father. For me it was my father. So me and God had a problem at first
Most definitely.
because my daddy did it.
Right.
And so I couldn't listen to God because I looked at him as a man.
Mm.
So me and him had to argue.
Mm.
The first man you gave me ain't been nothing.
Mm.
What make you think I'm gonna listen to you?
Lord have mercy.
And God had to talk to me. And I don't mind telling my story. I was in the middle of fighting a man that loved me,
Right.
had never hit me for nothing.
Right.
But one day I woke up with hell in me, not knowing why. And I went to fighting him. But he was a good man, so he wouldn't hit me back.
Yes, ma'am.
And he backed up and he just screamed real loud
Yes,
and
ma'am.
said, "What have I done to you?
Right.
What makes you hate me when I love you?" And it was something about that scream.
I know something about that. I know a lot about that.
It was something about that scream, bro, that broke something in me.
Mm.
And I just started crying.
Right.
I just started crying.
Right.
And I couldn't think of what I was mad at.
Right.
And I got quiet and I got still. And I was almost shaking.
Yes, ma'am.
And I began to talk to God, and I was just like, why am I mad? Like, why am I mad? God
Right.
said, because he loves you,
Right.
and you don't love yourself.
Oh. Woo. That's deep. That's deep.
God say you mad at him because he love you, and you don't love yourself.
You know, and see, the thing about Sister Anastasia about that is that, you know, like I said, considering myself being a passionate man, I find myself in situations where, because of my age, I was allowed to see an era where there was a time where fathers came home and had dinner with the children, kissed the wife before they go to bed and sleep. And you know, that's almost done and over with these days. But because I was exposed to that through my father and other fathers in our community growing up, we had better examples of what to do as men. But the thing about it is, as young men, we were in an identity crisis, so our capacity to love was damaged as well, like you say,
Yeah.
from not having a father there, from not having, you know, mom's attention, and all these other things that, you know, plague our subcultural community. And then by the time a man arrives and he's gone through some things to get through to some things, and he's shaped and fashioned himself to be a good man, the kind of man that a woman would love and would deserve. At that point, I found that because the women are so scarred by the things they've been through, they would drag a good guy through the mud and go embrace a little knucklehead with his pants hanging off his butt, a pistol hanging out his pocket, or whatever, because it doesn't cause them to act as a woman
Well,
would.
I'm-
More
I'm-
so, you
I'ma
end
share-
up being a babysitter
I'm
and mama
share
baby
something
again.
with you. I'm finna drop a jewel on you.
Mhm.
If you want a woman, stop thinking they're using you. A woman and a man.
Mhm.
Everybody get used.
Mm.
God get used.
Mm.
God get used.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Every day he wake you up
Yes, ma'am.
and you don't do what he asked you to do, you using him.
Yes, ma'am.
You using up his time. You using up his love.
Yes, ma'am.
You using up his temple.
Yes, ma'am.
You using up what he gave you, your purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things that we don't realize is that dating doesn't start when you get the person.
Mhm.
If you want something, the reason my husband got me is because we was friends first.
Yes, ma'am.
And he would hear me talking maybe to a friend girl or on the phone or just in passing, he would hear me conversate with somebody.
Yes,
And I might be saying, child, I need to give me some gas money, or child, I need to do this, or I need to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
And all of a sudden I hear my cash app go off.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look at my cash app and I be like, and I call him, I'm like, hey, why'd you send me that?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, well, I heard you talking to your friend saying you needed
Right.
such and such and such and such.
Right.
So I wanted to be a help.
Right.
And this went on,
Right.
even before we started being intimate.
Mhm.
This is the things he done. And you don't start dating a woman when you get her. You start dating her before you get to her. You got to show her your character just like she got to show you her character.
Yes, ma'am.
See, they say that a man find a good thing. I say a woman got to find it.
Interesting.
Because a man can be fooled by makeup.
Yes.
Y'all don't wear no makeup.
No, ma'am.
A man can be fooled by a body.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all don't do nothing with y'all body. except for workout or exercise. We can go buy a booty, some titties, and everything.
Right.
Y'all don't do all that.
Right.
A woman can literally be broken and know how to smile and captivate a man,
Yes.
but the man don't even know it's not the real her.
Wow. Wow. And that, I think that's the reason that as men, a lot of us are, I won't say intimidated by women with a strong will, but we find ourselves a little hesitant to be able to entertain that because it requires a lot of work out of us. It requires a work out of us to be able to relate to you on that level. So a man that is not dominant or who doesn't have dominant features would shy away from a woman with a strong will. And the thing that I like about women with strong will is this, is that in the event that we align ourselves laterally and we got the same mission and the same motive in front of us, if I'm a bad motherfucker on this side and you're a bad motherfucker on that side, then everything in front of us is mowed down.
That's called equally yoked.
Yes, ma'am.
See, people think being equally yoked mean having the same substance, or they think it mean the same religion or the same passions.
Right.
No, that's not what that means. To be equally yoked means that your right leg is strong and my left leg is strong. If both of us strong on the same side, that means we're gonna pull this way.
Yes, ma'am.
If both of us strong on this side, we're gonna pull that way.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you strong in that leg and I'm strong in this leg, we're gonna go forward. And a lot of people don't like challenges.
Right.
Like and men misread women too. Men misread women. Men will think that because a woman has sex with them early, that means she a hoish woman. Some women will make love to you early because she see favor in you.
Right.
And because she's thinking she's giving you the best part of her, but think about this. The reason she thinks that's the best part of her is because that's what's been taken all the time.
Sad thing.
If a woman has been molested, sexually abused, some kind of way, the devil has a way of manipulating what's the most valuable part. So you'll start using what you think is the most valuable thing and then find out that that's what you should have saved for last.
Right.
Men too.
Right.
It's a lot of men get into relationships because they got good firehead, as they say, and they got good Johnson. The woman to mess with you, have sex with you, but she don't want to keep you. She don't want to make you no husband. She don't want to see you till a certain hour. Women do the same thing. I know because I was one.
And you know what? I think actually, to be honest, I think now women do that a little more than men, because now today women are more independently empowered themselves to where, a lot of times
Systematically done.
Right. There was a lot of time where women had to depend on men, so they had to put up with some bullshit because he put food on the table.
Yes.
That's not today. Women, our sisters now these days, they have their own beauty supply places. They have their own salons.
They got their stuff together.
They got some stuff going on. And a lot of them would tell, certain guys that, hey man, all I need you to do is come home and be right by me and the children because I can handle the rest on my own.
That's a lot of women.
But the thing I think about...
But I want to tell you this. I want to say this to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you need to understand this, and this is biblical. This ain't got nothing to do with Anastasia. This is biblical. Ain't now fruit of the spirit that got to do with love got no money in it. Not one. Not one. You were made to protect me.
That's right.
You were made to stand in front of me.
Yes.
If you look at the lion, the woman goes out to get the food. The lion stays at home and protects the house.
Right.
If you look at how a woman can be able to negotiate where a man can't go in a room, but because of her beauty and her softness, she's able to do things that a man can't do.
Right.
She go through the door, and once she get the door open, then she can bring the king.
Yes, ma'am.
We have lost our identity by letting these people make us think one way rather than the right way.
That's right.
Let me pose this to you. A woman is the nurturer, right?
Yes.
She has the baby. She suckles the baby
Right.
from her breast. She raised the baby. She tend the baby. She cooks. She feeds the baby. She raised the baby. She pours into the baby. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be that. Daddy go outside and play football with the baby. Daddy teach the boy how to fight.
Yes,
Daddy
ma'am.
teach him how to tie the tie. Most women that are productive, you give us a house, we'll make it a home. You give us flour, we'll make pancakes.
Yes, ma'am.
You give us a dime, we'll make it into $1.
Yes, ma'am.
The man was never made to take care of the woman because we've been taking care of you all along. We carried you first. The world changed that. We done carried you 9 months. We done raised you for 18 years. Then all of a sudden the world flips it and says, well, she done did all that for you. She done raised you. Now you supposed to take care of her. No, you supposed to be able to match me. You're supposed to be able to back me up.
Right.
If I fall, you got my back.
Right.
But it was never meant for you to carry me because I already carried you.
Okay.
It was never meant to be that way.
Yes, ma'am.
A man is supposed to be your stronghold, your strong bearer. That if I can't do something, you there to get me. But it ain't never supposed to be that you taking care of me and I'm laying up on my back. See, I done been a pillar princess.
Okay.
I done been a pillar princess. I done been the one that get to stay at the house and let the man do everything.
Shelter.
Yeah, I done been there.
Nurture.
And I found out that the reason the men was willing to take care of me is because they knew I could take care of myself.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So if you show a man that you're able to do it on your own, a man will come in and say, baby, let me carry the weight.
Most definitely. Most definitely. You know, we
But,
like to.
but pay attention to this. If you ain't got nothing, and you talking about, well, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. Now I've made myself a servant to you and a slave to you. Because if you leave, I ain't got nothing. And a lot of women have let the world fool them into thinking that you a meal ticket. That you supposed to do they hair, you supposed to buy their hair, you supposed to do this. Baby, if you're not buying it for yourself, why should he buy it for you? See, if you don't come already ready-made, then what I got to pour into? See, people like to say, I want a 50-50 relationship. Well, not me. I always wanted 100-100.
Hey, that's real. That's real.
I don't need no 50-50. Because you
That's
know why I
real.
don't need 50-50? Because I don't know where the other half going.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And that's real because, you know, I'm going to give 110%.
That part.
Because I believe that as a man, you know, most times when you see me, I might not have the most expensive threads and wares that they got at the store, but I'm going to try to make sure that I put something together where it looks decent enough because I come from nothing. I know what it is to have nothing. See, I know what it is. I was born and raised in South Dallas, Texas on Myers Street.
Yes.
You know, we had, for a while, me and my sister were given hand-me-down clothes from the other relatives to go to school with. You know, there was a time when I was a youngster when I had to get out when the sun come up and don't come back till the sun go down. Then I had to go out to the playground and the rec center and go to get involved in the free lunch program and the WIC program in order to be able to bring back free lunches to the house for the family to eat along with it. But my mother was a natural born hustler. I have to say that, and I have to give shine to my mother because at this time God has made her a beautiful matriarch and a matron and a woman after God's own heart. But there was a time when my mama was a hardcore go-getter, and she made it her business to make sure that my kids gonna have the best of whatever, you know. And a lot of times in this day and time, parents find themselves trying to do that as well. You know, there's no handbook on parenting, so parents feel like if we buy the flyest device with the most expensive and intelligent games and we give it to our child while we have to go off to work and while we're on Zoom doing the meeting for the job and while we're on our prayer or study class, things of these nature, the more things that we could give our kids that are tangible to keep them distracted from the missing of the love that needed to be there.
See, a lot of people are doing that though. A lot of people are giving gifts. They giving money. They giving cars. They buying houses.
Right.
They giving them businesses, but you ain't giving them no God.
Exactly.
I remember graduation time, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and everybody was showing their kids with the big wads of money.
Right.
They was showing their kids with the cars. They was showing
Big
their
Lambo.
kids with the flies boots and how they done
Right.
spent all the money on the limbo. And I was like, why ain't nobody got no Ain't nobody got no word. Why ain't nobody prayed with their child?
Mm.
Why ain't nobody told them, now, baby, this job will get you this far.
Right.
This car will get you that far.
Right.
But God will take you all the
You
way.
hear me? You hear me?
God will take you all the way. When you ain't got nothing, you got God.
Word.
And I'm so sick of people making people think God is on the outside, up there in the sky somewhere. He inside you.
Yes, most definitely.
You look in the mirror and start talking to yourself. I recently, I've been in meditation and I've been fasting. I had went like a week without eating, and I was just drinking water because I wanted to grow closer to God, and I
Yes,
needed
ma'am.
some questions answered.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have learned, when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, you put your hand over your heart. You remember that? I
Yes.
pledge allegiance to the
Yes,
flag.
and raise the right. Yes.
What about pledge allegiance to God?
Yes, that's the most important thing
See,
in life.
because when you start thinking about everything that the world got, they took it from God. When you start learning how to talk to your own heart, put your hand over your own heart. I am healed. I am fulfilled. I am blessed. I am gracious. I am highly favored. I am wealthy. And do you not know that you the living water? You are the living water. That's why you 80% water.
Yes, ma'am.
You are the living water. You are everything that Yeshua was. And so we got to learn how to talk to ourselves. See, a lot of stuff ain't been broken because we ain't learned how to break it. We can't break generational curses trying to please the same generation.
Jewels. Most definitely. So, for real TV talk show, there you have it. You know, Anastasia the Bold, Dallas's own boldest comedienne. And we want to let y'all know, give shine. This sister here has her own line of products, and we want to help showcase some of her products because, again, the For Real TV talk show, when you come here to tell your story, if you have merchandise, if you have press release kits, if you have anything that can be spewed out to the public, we want you to be able to get it out to them so that they can support all of my guests on this show.
Well, just so you know, this is my Anastasia the Bold perfume. This is my own fragrance. Men and women wear it. In fact, I have more men buying it than women.
Let me get a sample.
Go,
People know
go.
I like smell good.
Look, I want you to
Let me
smell
get a
it on
test for
there.
y'all. Let me get a test for y'all.
And it is oil based.
Uh-oh.
It is oil based, so I don't recommend spraying it on your clothes.
Okay.
But I do let you know that it will last for you always, and this is your gift. This is your gift for having me on the Real Talk
All praise to
TV
God.
show.
I like that. Damn, I like that.
This is also my lavender body wash called the Royal Wash. It's for relaxation when you take your bath and it makes you feel real relaxed and calm. And the price for this is only these little bottles are only $5. This here is $40. And they've been telling me it smells kind of like a lighter scent of baklava, but everybody seems to like mine better. So I don't know. They say baklava costs about $300. I hope I'm saying the name right, but whatever it is, they saying mine smells like a softer version of that, and it lasts longer and it ain't got no alcohol in it. So you getting real EDP, real perfume up in here. Now, my most favorite item that I like to expose, and I'm going to give you one of these before I leave as well. These are this is my ministry. And I'm going to get closer to the camera so you can see this. But this is my ministry. These are genuine mustard seeds in here. And if you know anything about the mustard seed, a mustard seed can yield 14 feet of wheat. Just one of these little seeds. Just one. And they say faith the size, the grain of a mustard seed. No, it's the grain of a mustard seed.
Whoa.
What the seed is made of, the grain of the mustard seed. See, a lot of scriptures done took out the grain of the mustard seed.
Yes, ma'am.
Will move a mountain. And if you have just that much faith, you can move hell and high waters. Trust God. Trust the process. Trust that you have a purpose. If you ain't cut down and God is still waking you up, He ain't finished yet.
Hey, there you have it. Out of the mouth of one I own. I'm gonna call her Notorious Because if you ever go to any of her comedy shows and you listen to her talk, you will be proselytized. We'll say you'll be converted, and you will be a fan like me. And yes, most definitely she's notorious. I mean, everybody around the city of Dallas knows Anastasia the Bold. This is the mouth of the South, and we want y'all to continue to support this lady's products. We want you to continue to support her concerts and her performances where she's booked at. And for those of you who would like to book her, let them know where you're at, sis, in social media and above.
You can catch me on Facebook under Anastasia Bolden, my last name Bolden. My booking number is 972-399-6164. Also, I'm on Instagram at The Bold Anastasia. And you can also email me. My comedy company is Just for Laughs Productions, but I've been doing a lot more motivational speaking and empowerment events, and I really want to do God's work right now. I just got called off of my job on March the 12th. God said he needed me in the field. I did not hesitate to go. I did not hesitate to leave, and then I even wanted to try him the next day. He told me to leave on the 12th. I tried to go back to work on the 13th. He shook me like a leaf on a tree. I said, I got the message. I told him to give me some proof, and he gave it to me. So you'll catch me in the field. My next foot washing event is on April the 30th, which is my sister's birthday. The last one I just had was March the 27th, which was my mother's birthday. Also, not only was it my mother's birthday, but it was also, for me, my 24th year in comedy. So March the 27th made 24 years I've been doing comedy. Wow. And so I am so grateful to God for keeping me here. But I'm so grateful that I have a purpose in this life. And if you don't know it, I want you to know today, you also have a purpose. And that means you too, Mr. E. Love.
Well, thank you.
Before we close this out, I want to put your mustard seed necklace on your neck. Because I need you to keep your faith. Because no matter what come against you, big bro, you got it. And you were chosen. See, the difference between being called and chosen, when you call, you can hang up the phone. But when you chosen, it don't matter where you go. You can be in the slums, you can be in the crack house, you can be on the prostitute street, you can be laying up under your person. And God will say, hey, you belong to me. And the people won't even know why you crying or why you saying, I can't do this or I can't do that. But God knows you ain't gone and he ain't finished till he say it's done.
All right, well, say, with that, we're about to get ready to cut this thing off, and I just want to let you know that my name again is E. Love, the Game Coach. This is the For Real TV talk show. We will have other content coming in different forms and formats. We try not to be the normal podcast, so we want to do things differently. As well, I want you to continue to just pray for me, man. I need all the prayer that I can get. I almost lost my life in less than 2 hours ago. I was in a terrible crash. I will spare you guys the details. I don't even want y'all to see the pictures of how the vehicles look. So all I can tell you is that you're looking at a miracle again, and I take no credit from it. It's all God. I lost my employment, but I know that somewhere along the line, God got something else for me. And for the people who want to see me suffer and who would love to see me do and be without, all I can tell you to do is hold your breath, because all I can do is pray for you that God will fix your heart where it'll be like mine, and then maybe you have the same kind of covering and the kind of favoring that I do. With that being said, show love, show love, show love. All I want you to do is show love to somebody next to you or somebody watching you, and you'll be like me. The For Real TV talk show saying goodbye.
It's your girl Anastasia the Bold, and we out of here because we for real about it. And this is why I'm on the For Real TV talk show.
It's a wrap.
Catch me April the 30th.